Franklin's back there. I know he goes like this. Guys, look at Franklin back there. Look at his little eyes. You can see him back there.
Franklin, are you scared?
Franklin. He's like, I think he's hunting us. I think he's Norman Bates. Look at that. That's terrifying.
Should have named him Norman instead of Franklin.
I like that Franklin's like getting involved in the podcast. That makes me happy. I'm a proud father.
I've told you a million times, don't play with knives. What are you doing?
Okay.
You know, it's funny how, you know, your paternal thing is always there. Number one, yeah, I told you not to play with knives. And number two, I still think of you like trying to shield you from things that are scary, because when you were little, you'd see something. Oops, we've got all kinds of sound effects. Okay. You'd see scary things on the news, and you'd look at us and go, oh, like that, you know. And it's like, I still feel like I need to shield you from Psycho.
And now we're watching Psycho together. Yeah. Well, I was terrified. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's okay. Okay. Sorry,
guys. Thank you for watching episode
Here we are.
4.
End of October. End of October.
Halloween is coming up.
Halloween.
Halloween. Or as on Vanilla Water, they said spoopy. Ethan said spoopy.
Where's the spoopy? Where does spoopy come from?
I'm gonna send this to Tanner after we're done. Well, yeah. So episode 4, Psycho, best Hitchcock film. It's the most classic one. I think it's his best. You know, I mean,
do you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, you feel like you disagree with me?
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't disagree with you. No, I don't.
Cool. I just wanted to kind of like close it, like kind of start our last episode on Hitchcock. And it's not our last one, but like our this little series that we're doing. It's been really cool as we've started this podcast to use it, and it's just made me excited for like what's more to come, because I've been able to dive into a director and movies that I've never seen before. That I've seen Psycho before, but like,
so you okay, that's.
But like, just like kind of research and like look into this stuff. Yeah. It's been so fun, and so I'm really excited to.
And not having to do it for like a school project.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a
for
college
something I
term
actually
paper
want to be
something.
doing. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So little film background. Obviously, Alfred Hitchcock. This was adapted from, you guessed it, a novel. Psycho.
You know, this if I have to, I got to interrupt you.
Okay.
This is one of my, I know it's probably rather boring to some people, but this is one of my favorite parts of the whole. Like, who cares how many viewers we get? I'm just like really excited to get all this knowledge.
I know, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I do care that.
Don't
about
watch
the
this podcast. We're just having fun.
Just for us.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's been so excited to just learn about all this stuff. Like, I'm genuinely interested, and it's given me a reason to.
Yeah. So because when we end up finding out like what novel it came from, and really so many movies did. Like
all these came from. Every single one we watched came from a short story or a novel. Yeah. I don't know if all of his did, but it was, But so, adapted from the Robert Bloch, I think is his name, 1959 novel Psycho. Okay. So this came out in 1960. So he literally made it the next year. He was probably making it when the novel came out. But here's the thing, that novel was loosely inspired by the real life murderer Ed Gein or Gein. I didn't look much into him, but if you want to look at Ed Gein, Gein, Hitchcock actually bought the rights for this for like $9,000. And then this is a cool fact. He bought as many copies of the book as he could find to try and keep the ending a surprise.
So people would not read it. So people
wouldn't know.
Yeah, sure.
So he actually owns the rights to the book too. Huh. It's the first time I think it's the only time he did that. Because it kind of came out as soon as the movie, he was like super inspired by it.
Wow.
This was
I don't think he knew what he was doing.
I don't think he knew either.
It was just like,
well, because this was a low budget film for Hitchcock. It was only around $800,000.
Black and white.
Yeah. He filmed it using his own TV crew from Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Yeah. Which is
okay. I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's got like that kind of. It's a very like almost structured, strict environment where it's like they only have
a lot of shows in that. Well, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. A lot of those shows back then were anthology shows, where there would be it was like a television film. Yeah. Still well done.
Yeah.
Would not have worked in color.
Totally. Yeah.
Would not have worked in color.
Yeah. That's a little fun fact actually. Do you know the thing about the blood in this movie?
I think so.
It was Hershey's chocolate syrup.
Okay. Yeah.
Little fun fact.
Wouldn't have worked in color.
Yeah.
You would have had Willy Wonka.
Exactly.
Which was scary too.
Yeah. And
to me.
And like we've talked about with just more film background with like Jimmy Stewart and stuff like that. Both Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins were cast against type. Like Perkins was known for wholesome roles. And
yes.
and then which made this even more disturbing.
Yeah, and I can't think of he was in a movie about Quakers or Amish folk or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Where
I don't know much about him.
Gosh, the movie was called Friendly something.
Okay.
Aren't we good movie podcasters? And we know all of our background.
I did my research.
He did his. I'll get better, I promise, folks.
Yep.
Subscribe now.
Subscribe.
Yeah, it was a movie about. I just remember that they were peace-loving Quakers or something, and they couldn't. Anyway, who cares?
Yeah.
But anyway,
who
you're
cares?
right. He was against typecast.
Yeah.
He was type against cast.
And then
type against cast. Whatever.
Yeah, but so the cool thing about the marketing and release of this movie was he refused to allow critics advanced screenings, and theaters were instructed to not let anyone in after the movie started.
Oh,
so it was kind of like a bold but it it was like a free marketing thing too, because people would see lines outside the theater and they were like, what's that for? And they're like, we're trying to see Psycho, and they won't let us in.
Brilliant.
But Academy Awards, they nominated for Best Director, Best Supporting Actress for Janet Leigh, Best Cinematography in Black and White for John Russell, and Best Art Direction, Set Decoration, Black and White. Janet Leigh won Best Supporting Actress for the Golden Globes,
but not the Oscars.
Not the Oscars. But in 1992, Psycho was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the U.S. National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant.
Okay.
But yeah, it's this is one of the most classic films of all time. We played the classic, the killer soundtrack from it. I've known about that sound.
Our witty opening.
Yeah, we're hilarious. It's our cold opens. Guys, stick around if you want to see more of those.
Oh my gosh.
We'll ask ChatGPT.
We've got a million of them.
We'll ask ChatGPT for more of them too. No. That sound, the ring.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's been overdone so many times. I knew about it and I didn't really even know where it was from.
Yeah.
Like as a kid or something. But yeah,
because your mom used to chase me around the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Michelle, cool it down. No. So I told you about the chocolate syrup blood. Sorry, I've got a lot of fun little facts from this one. This movie has the first toilet flush in Hollywood on screen, where they film the toilet being flushed because it was seen as scandalous, right?
Totally scandalous.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Showing a toilet, just showing a toilet was scandalous. Did you know that?
Which is so funny.
Yeah.
Everybody poops. It's okay. But everybody in 1960, it's okay. You poop. We all poop. For the knife in the shower scene, despite the scene's intensity, so it is a real knife, right? But it never touches her. Right. Because it's just, there's so many cuts happening that you never... it just kind of, you're like, whoa, it looks brutal.
And now if you said this, and I'd heard this too before I watched it.
Yeah.
And if you watch closely, you can see it just slicing through the air.
Yeah.
Although, even though I knew that was a fact where it didn't actually touch her body, it still is.
It's terrifying.
Impactful.
Yeah. It seems relentless.
It still comes off as that he stabbed.
Like absolutely brutal. Okay. So, as we've done with the past few Hitchcock, I wanna take a break and talk about the controversy. The cruelty that Hitchcock would regularly subject, specifically his actresses to, even other people on the set and stuff. But Janet Leigh came out and this is really she talked about the kind of the shower scene, like zooming in on that. That was that required over 70 camera setups and took 7 days to shoot. Now, so she said later that Hitchcock deliberately prolonged filming and forced her to, which basically, you know, that took 7 days to shoot and 70 camera setups, basically standing naked in like cold water while she, and like, you know, and Hitchcock would do those things where he would subject his actresses to cruelty to try and get something out of them. Right. And it's like, but that to me,
I think everything he did was deliberate. I think he knew what he was doing. I think playing with people's heads, being a tormentor, whether it was right or wrong, he did it deliberately.
And it was like, and I'm of the opinion that I don't think that's ever necessary to try and get a good performance out of someone. But she claimed, I don't want to misrepresent her. She claimed that she never felt outright exploited, but she admitted that the process was physically punishing and psychologically draining, which of course sounds like it.
And I think she's one of the actresses that talked the most. Of course, I think she lived longer than most of them, but I think she talked the most about Hitchcock.
You
know,
her and Tippi Hedren too, what we talked about last time. And so obviously, like we don't really have many stories about him subjecting his male actors to that same stuff. But Anthony Perkins said that Hitchcock kept him isolated and offered very little directorial guidance. And kept him isolated from everybody else because he wanted his awkward, uneasy demeanor to kind of feel real, which it comes across. It really does. But yeah, like we said, we want to acknowledge that stuff happened, and then say, hey, this is also a really good movie. There's nuance here. But that was bad and that shouldn't have happened. So, anyway, so this is the first one that we've watched in this little Hitchcock month series that I've seen before.
You'd already seen.
I watched Psycho for the first time a few years ago. It was like on Peacock or something. But I thought it was really good, obviously. But what'd you think?
I mean, I've seen this one the most.
Okay. How many times do you think you've seen it?
If I had to guess, I would say 6 or 8 times.
Wow.
Probably in my lifetime. Yeah.
Why would you go back to this? No, I mean, it's great, but it's like terrifying. You know?
Well, and you know, that's how I know that it's a classic, because I have seen it so many times. You know, I don't, it doesn't take away from it for me.
Sure.
It's still disturbing.
This was the one where we've talked, you know, this is my favorite one. I think it's his best, particularly because it still holds up today. To me, it is just as terrifying. Because it's just the visuals and the acting is so good. The story is super compelling. You're like, what's going on? It still feels fresh. A lot of his movies still feel fresh, but like we've talked about in these other ones, it's we kind of have to put ourselves in the audience's shoes for this one. And this one, I feel like you can watch it with a modern context and still be like, man, that is crazy and scary. And I kind of want to, so we're at the time where we want to start talking about like the story of it and everything. We, you know, obviously we got the dual identity thing with Norman Bates, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that. I had like a little question typed up for you and me to talk about, but it's, how does Hitchcock use Norman's duality to reflect the anxieties about the masks that people wear in everyday life? And are we supposed to feel sorry for Norman? Right? Because the story is he, you know, you don't find this out until the very end, so obviously spoilers, but he told Marion that his mom was killed or something, or that she he told Marion that
she was an invalid.
Yes, that's right. He told her a different story, and then he told the detective that she was an invalid, but he said that like the stepdad or something, that I don't know. Anyway, but we find out that he killed his mom and her lover. And it was and I there is this one little dialogue back and forth between him and Marion, where they're sitting in his little study back there and they're having sandwiches, and he says,
kind of a little parlor behind the office.
I wrote this down because I thought it was really interesting. He says, "We're all in our private traps, clamped in them, and none of us can ever get out. We scratch and claw, but only at the air. And for all of it, we never budge an inch. And then Marion says, sometimes we deliberately step into those traps. And then Norman retorts with, I was born in mine. I don't mind it anymore. And then Marion says, you should mind it. Mm-hmm. And then he says, oh, I do, but I say I don't. And I'm like, that is the creepiest.
All that dialogue is like, whoa.
Yeah. But it's prophetic, as Hitchcock usually is. Mm-hmm. It's obviously pertinent to the story because, the trap that he's in is he thinks that he is his mom. He's got mm-hmm. that dual personality thing. Right. But yeah, what did you find yourself feeling sympathy for Norman? And do you think Hitchcock wanted you to feel that? Like, what were your thoughts about that?
I did. And Anthony Perkins, again, this is his first breakout complex. Yeah. He's played.
He was terrific.
A lot of wholesome, uncanny, complex portrayal of Norman. He did a good job, especially in the beginning, of balancing that likability mm-hmm. with disturbing undercurrent of turmoil, I guess.
And what I noticed is he doesn't have that kind of transatlantic accent. And he didn't try to put it on, right? And I think that was the time when people are starting to put that off.
But it definitely was.
He felt like I knew him. His portrayal of Norman mm-hmm. was like, oh, that's like one of my friends
mm-hmm.
or something.
He chewed gum.
Yeah.
You notice that he chewed gum nervously, chomping at it, like But I do think the duality you talk about with the character. I think that Norman evokes sympathy, and menace sometimes at the simultaneously. So yes, I think that was on purpose. I think Hitchcock really, he wanted us to feel empathy for Norman. He wanted us to feel empathy for Norman even after we found out that Norman was nuts.
Yeah.
Really. I shouldn't say that. That's not a very nice word.
Well, no, Well, after he was, we found out he had that disorder.
Yeah.
Because at the end, he has that blanket wrapped around him and you hear Mother's voice and you're like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic last scene with that stare.
Oh my
and everything. That's in the picture back here. I don't know if you can even see it.
Well, okay. I got a little fun fact about that stare.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed this, but it's totally Hitchcock just playing with you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's actually kind of like a Kubrick stare, Stanley Kubrick. Like mm-hmm. Is it Kubrick or Kubrick? Like The Shining,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Jack Nicholson. It's kind of. Yes. I wonder if that's where he got it from. But as he makes that stare, and it slowly fades out from the stare to them pulling the car out of the swamp, there is a very thin, translucent picture of his mother's skull overlaid on his face.
Yep. I picked it up.
It is. You see it for a second, and you're like, "Did I see that?"
Yeah,
and then it's like, "Oh, it's so good."
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. No. It was just for a slight little bit of time.
And it's the spookiest stare. And I talked about how it's a modern. You can watch this without any context, but I'm imagining someone in 1960 watching this. Mm-hmm. That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I feel like I couldn't trust anybody after this movie. Like, man, because he's so
right.
nice.
Well,
like,
and tons of people talked about, I didn't take a shower for
mm-hmm.
forever. Hitchcock, part of his brilliance, again, you say, he used his television crew. It was a black and white. Now, a lot of movies in the early 60s like that were shot in this style, black and white.
Yeah.
Black and white came back for a little while. Technicolor was a big deal for so long, and then black and white came back for a while for some of the grittier films, not just horror, but some of the other, To Kill a Mockingbird. I think a patch of blue. Was a patch of blue.
Never heard of it.
Anyway, I'm talking about some early 60s.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else about Anthony Perkins with his, after Marion dies, I'm sure this is part of Hitchcock's direction, but he seamlessly becomes the new focus. Marion was the focus.
Yeah,
she dies, and Norman just there's nothing but just like it's just seamless.
Yeah,
and he becomes the new focus of the story. And I think that's because he's able to. We trust him, but yet he makes us feel uneasy.
Yep.
I think it's part of his. Anthony Perkins could really portray that boyish charm that Norman had with even his gum chewing. He stammered a little bit. You felt sorry for him. His posture was awkward. Yeah. You can tell that. I mean, Anthony Perkins is a handsome person, but he still had that little "I'm not so sure of myself" type. Like that. Anyway,
he was kind of goofy.
Yeah, kind of a goofiness, like a gangly 13, 14-year-old boy before they become a man,
Exactly.
So he just did a great job at that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure he was nominated for. Again, we didn't do it. I didn't do my homework. Was he nominated?
I don't think he was.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me because his performance was amazing.
Yeah. I would have thought he would have been.
No, it's just best director.
That's something.
And, Janet Leigh got one, best supporting actress.
Yeah.
But he didn't get one.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. You pointed this out, and I want to expound upon it. Marion is seemingly our protagonist and dies halfway through the movie.
Right.
And I feel like that was really uncommon for the time. It's still pretty uncommon to switch your protagonist almost, because the protagonist almost becomes the villain.
Yeah.
It's almost like it turns into like a Macbeth scenario or something.
And I think that Janet Leigh played her. We related to her.
Yes.
And we almost said, she should have taken that money.
Yeah, because that creepy cowboy guy was talking, and we're like, he
serves him right.
He deserves that.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
But she was relatable, but a flawed person.
Yes.
Hitchcock does this once in a while. He does it a lot. He has criminals in his movies that we're sympathetic to. Yeah. They're not necessarily villains. Mm-hmm. She did a good job of creating that fully realized character arc.
Sorry,
she's.
I think this is the first time that Doris is on camera. Do you see her back there on the coffee? Guys, that's Miss Doris.
There's Doris up on the coffee.
She's probably going to knock something over. We'll just have to deal with it. The joy of having cats.
And we're getting spooked anyway because we're talking about Psycho.
Yeah, so I'm like, what's behind me all the time?
Right. No, Janet Leigh created this fully, well, I shouldn't say just Janet Leigh. I'm sure it was part of Hitchcock's directing, but fully realized character arc where she went from, she's desperation, from desperate, femme fatale or lover or whatever you want to call her, to she had regret. She was a regretful thief.
Yeah.
She's writing down how much money she'd spent from that loot that she'd basically stolen.
Well, it's interesting to see that Norman makes her kind of instigates that change in her.
Yeah.
Somehow. And it to me, I didn't really know why that happened. Was it because that Norman unnerved her and she didn't feel safe and she took it as a sign that she needs to go back? Or because, you hear she's looking out the window and she hears the conversation between Norman and his mother, quote unquote.
Right.
And, and they use a woman's voice for mom. So it's like,
but you almost are listening like, is that Norman?
Yeah. Well, because it was my second time and I was like, I think they really use a Norman's voice for that. Yeah. So I wonder or if like his situation, like where he feels trapped in a way.
Yeah.
And it's like,
helped her realize
maybe go,
things.
I don't want to be like that. I'm going to go back, and
definitely.
It's interesting.
Definitely.
So she almost felt sympathy for him too.
Yeah. And she, again, and I'm sure this is part of the direction. Yeah. She portrayed paranoia and fear just with her face very vividly, especially that whole weird stuff with the patrolman. That patrolman was a little menacing.
Yeah.
And I never did figure out, I don't know, maybe, again, I'm not picking up on some things. But
no, I didn't look into that either. But yeah, he was.
Why was he kind of stalking her, basically? That, like, he followed her to the card lot.
It's kind of like that's the interesting thing about Hitchcock is he while he was so cruel to a lot of these women himself, he seemed to understand, at least in some part, the plight that women went through.
True.
Like, because Vertigo, you could argue, is totally about the male gaze. It's about objectification of women and just men doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And then that is kind of like, the fear of a woman traveling alone.
True.
It's a woman can't just travel by themselves. And it's strange that he knows that they go through that and still subjects these actresses to cruelty. But anyway,
I still kind of just wondered, like, what was that all about? With the patrolman?
Because it maybe it's saying something about how even people that are supposed to be safe it's kind of setting you up. Where like Norman seems safe, is he also? And that policeman is, he seems kind of.
He's supposed to be a helper.
He's supposed to be, and maybe to a woman traveling alone, no one is a helper.
Right. And he just created that. Added to that feeling of uneasiness, I guess.
It's the glasses he never takes off. You can't see his eyes, and it's like, ugh.
Well, and I think probably he was part of the key in the story where we as the audience, we end up really investing in Marion, and we have to we have to invest in her because we're completely shocked when she is killed.
Yeah.
So he's part of that whole build up, I guess.
Because it makes us go like, no, she needs to get away from the policeman. Like, you're rooting for her, like you don't want her to get caught because she deserves it. You feel like she deserves
and when he's standing over there, it's like, what are you doing? Leave her alone.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of
thing.
Just let her sleep in her car. Who cares?
Right.
It's her car.
Yeah.
But that's you just said that we don't expect her to get killed, right? Because we're so invested in her. That shower scene comes out of nowhere. Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, you're like, okay, we're watching her take a shower. This is weird. Mm-hmm. Like, we just watch Norman look at her through the peephole, and then her door opens, and you're like, what? And then there's a woman standing there with a knife, and you're like, Mom, what are you doing? It's it's so spooky, and they never show you the face, and it's like terrifying.
Yeah.
Let's go on to. I wanted to ask you about kind of like this is kind of acting, but both acting and story. The theme of like voyeurism and surveillance, about how we kind of talked about how Marion's a protagonist and she gets killed, and then we're kind of forced to align with Norman, and it kind of makes you go. It's one of those things that reminded me of Rear Window, when we're kind of like Hitchcock makes us like implicates us, makes us feel like he's like, what are you doing? Why are you watching this? Why are you with him right now? And it's interesting, and it's almost like when another car pulls up and he drops the mop bucket for a second, you're like, oh, don't catch him. Because you like him a little bit still, and because he's still got this boyish, and you're like, but he's cleaning up this horrific murder,
But you feel as if he's helping his mother. At that point,
like he's trapped as well.
What a good boy.
So it's almost like, and I just put this together now. Marion stealing the money is like, okay, if you're good with that, are you good with this? It's just the next level of someone. We like doing something bad, and are we okay with it because we feel sorry for them?
Yeah,
like that's really what it is. But yeah.
So what are you asking me again?
I don't know. I think I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to say something about that. But yeah. Do you? I don't know. I think I just wanted to talk. Let's move on to the acting performances.
Okay.
Who was your favorite? Who kind of stood out in this one to you? As a theater professional, noticing acting
professional.
Yourself. Yes.
Let me tell you. Well, I already mentioned Janet Leigh as I always want to say Leigh because of Vivian.
Janet Leigh.
Vivian Leigh. Yeah. But you know what? She was Vivian Leigh. Vivian.
Really?
Gone with the Wind. I don't know. I don't care anymore. Leigh, whatever.
Okay.
You say potato, I say potato. I already talked about her with I think of her because, Jamie Lee Curtis, her daughter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
Okay. Wow.
Jamie Lee Curtis just won an Oscar.
Well, then it is Lee.
A couple years back. What? Jamie Lee Curtis. There you go, Janet Leigh. That's probably right. Yeah, duh.
Got the brains.
Anyway, Jamie Lee Curtis gave one of the most emotional Oscar speeches in a long time because she's been an actress forever.
Yeah.
And she won. And her father, Tony Curtis, nominated for the Defiant Ones, hopefully that's right. I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
Nominated for an Oscar. Janet Leigh, this is her only Oscar nomination ever. And at the end of her, I'll probably cry. What if I cry on this podcast? At the end of her speech, she kept going through, to my family, to my husband, we just won an Oscar. And then she said to my parents, who both were nominated for Oscars in their careers and did not win. And she stopped, and her voice broke. She said, I just won an Oscar. And, so there I go.
Beautiful. No, that's, yeah.
But,
was that this year? Or when was that?
That's a couple years ago.
Okay.
But,
yeah, she deserves it. She's
awesome. She came from Hollywood royalty.
Yeah.
And, again, a lot of these people, you can't give an Oscar to everybody. Everybody can't win these awards. And Janet Leigh obviously does a great job here. I mean,
yeah.
She was I'll go back a little tidbit, but she was in A Holiday Affair, one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Okay.
And it was a lot younger, beautiful, and little tidbit here, the guy who played the friend in Rear Window, Jimmy Stewart's friend, and I cannot come up with his name.
Neither can I. That's okay.
The
detective guy.
Better note taking when more subscribers come along, I promise. But anyway,
he's like he's blackmailing you.
But the guy who played the kind of low key friend in Rear Window played Janet Leigh's fiance in Affair to Remember.
Okay.
But she ends up going with Robert Mitchum. Spoiler alert. But anyway, why was I going there? Anyway, I don't know.
Oh, we were talking about acting performances.
Right, acting.
But I forgot to ask you our classic question about the story. If you had directed it or wrote it.
If I had directed or wrote it, what would I have done differently?
Could I tell you mine while you think about it? The thing that we've done for 4 episodes straight.
You
inspire
You inspire me.
So I told you about this beforehand. The one of the most terrifying parts in the movie for me. I'll say 2 things. Probably the most terrifying part of the movie to me is when the private investigator's walking up the stairs and then Norman dressed as mom comes out, but you think it's just mom because it's so sudden and quick that you're like, oh, and it just happens. But then it's when Norman's in the cellar, you only see him dressed. It's like, you only see him dressed up as mom for an instant, but he has this face.
Oh my gosh. Like he's
deranged,
gone completely mad.
And it doesn't even look like Anthony Perkins because he has contorted his face so crazily. And I wish that they would have lingered on that face, just like maybe a little close up on it. I think that would have like really cemented the dread and the realization, because it's almost like he comes out, he gets tackled, and we're on the next scene. And it's like, that was a little too quick. Like I kind of need more of a linger on that terror. So,
I think when Martin Balsam, who plays Detective Arbogast or whatever his name was, when he's coming up the stairs, of course, here we go again. Don't go up the stairs, Tippi Hedren. Don't go up the stairs, Detective.
Yeah.
And you see that as he's going up the stairs, the floor below gets fuzzy and it gets almost vertigo. Did you notice that?
I don't think I noticed that.
It was kind of a strange vertigo type effect. The only part of the movie that I thought was a little bit campy, but I figured out why Hitchcock did it, I thought.
Sure.
I agree with you. The creepy part was Norman coming out dressed as his mother quickly. Because normally in horror films you have a creaking of the door and you have their slowly approaching. Well, no, she just came right out.
Yeah.
And
I like that you said she too, because it's like,
that's
mom.
it is she.
It's mother.
It's mother. And when she slices him, in the face or whatever with the chocolate syrup coming out.
Yeah.
Then when he falls back down, that to me was a little bit campy.
Oh yes, I remember.
Kind of made me laugh a little bit.
I remember thinking that.
But yet, I think that Hitchcock did that on purpose, coming up the stairs with the fuzzy background, in order to make the fall down, more interesting, maybe. I don't know. For a 1960 audience.
Yeah, because it's at a point in the movie where you can't focus on Mother yet.
Yeah.
Because so you have to focus on the detective. You have to focus on somebody else, and we see his, him falling to his death.
But the biggest thing that just bored me to tears almost was I felt like that monologue at the end, the psychiatrist at the end.
Yes,
way too long.
I thought that was a little too much. Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
long-winded.
Well, and
overly.
You kind of go like, okay, we needed this. I needed to understand what happened.
Well, yeah. It was important to the story.
Totally.
But it was way too much. Overly expository. Really.
I think so too. Because this is a story where it works better the more unknowns there are, it's, and I'm glad they explained something.
And it just felt a little out of place. I mean, it sort of felt like it was almost like Rod Steiger from the Twilight Zone, but
Rod Serling.
Rod Serling.
Serling. I remember it because both of his names.
Steigers. I knew who Rod Steiger is.
Quick aside, Rod Serling, his first name, his last name, I like to call them their almost names because I don't know anyone today named Rod. I know like Rob. But like I don't know many Rods.
You have a cousin.
I have a cousin named Rod.
Cliff's brother's name is Rod. Rodney.
Well, yeah, we call him Rodney. But
no, we call him Rod.
Okay, sorry. So then there's that. But then like I don't know any Serling. I know a Sterling. I know Sterlings. Yeah. I don't know any Serling. So I always remember that. It's like it's two Rod almost Serling. Names.
Anyway, this guy reminded me. His monologue reminded me of Rod Serling
coming out,
but not a good Rod Serling. Yeah. Like. There was just too much there.
It felt like one of the. I was gonna say it felt like one of the campier Twilight Zone episodes where they come out and explain everything at the end, and you're like, okay.
It's somewhat. I think it took away a little bit from the tension that we were feeling.
Yeah.
It just takes away from the mystery of the whole movie, really, and especially the psychological junk that we're embroiled in. Not junk, but the psychological mess that has been made. It was just there. I guess there was too much explaining. Or
I wonder if you like, let me propose something. Excuse me. If you have those last two scenes, so you got Norman sitting in the lockup just with the blanket around him, and then you've got like the two in there. All we need to know is that Norman doesn't exist anymore. That's all we need.
Yeah, that was the important part, right? Of the monologue.
And so,
definitely.
like, I wonder if you just have a silent shot, like closing in on them sitting there while people are like doing coffee, and you see people bustling around trying to get stuff done, things like that, and you kind of see them sitting there, and then like they kind of go like, "Where is he?" And they go, "He's not here anymore." And then you go to another shot of just Norman just sitting there. And then you hear Mother start talking after we see him just kind of staring for a bit. I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It was a little too much.
And I don't know if this could even be done because this was kind of a small town courthouse. But like if there was some way that the people could be observing Norman through a window or something, and you could hear the psychiatrist.
That's
you
good.
Wouldn't even have to see the. I just felt like I didn't really want to be watching the psychiatrist. I wanted to hear his explanation, but yet it would have been. I don't know that they could have spent that much time looking at Norman. I don't know.
No, I agree. That's a good one too.
You have to
kind of hear traces of it.
I think that's why directors maybe film scenes different ways and see which one they like the best or something, or they redo a scene.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah. The only use I see for it is it gives us so much ease because we know everything, right? And then it goes to Norman, and you have his mother's skull laid over him. So it's like it's like you ease them totally, and it's like what did he say for Rear Window? Like he likes to like constrict and then let go, and then constrict,
tighten and let go.
And it's almost like the he totally eases us.
Yep.
And then Norman's back on, and we're like, oh, and we're back.
Yep.
So.
Tightening and letting go.
But yeah, no, that's a really good point I didn't think about is the over exposition of that.
Yeah.
Let me we're coming up on time. I'm geeking out on this one. I'm talking a lot. I wanted to ask you what you thought about, because apparently Bernard Herrmann, who wrote the score for this, he had to convince Hitchcock to use music for that scene, because apparently
the knife scene,
the shower scene, apparently the shower scene was going to have no music, and now it's like one of the most iconic. So I mean, Bernard Herrmann was right, exactly. So it's I wanted to ask you, like, you know, would this movie work if it were like The Birds, where it's got no score to it, if it's just silent most of the time? You know?
No, because I think the music was so strategic and well placed, and it adds so much to the shock value of it, and just that the powerful sound of the strings. There's constantly the stroking of the strings. I guess isn't that what most of the score is?
Totally. It's so unnerving. And I agree with you. The music just takes it to another level.
Right. And just, you know, I don't know. I don't see how they could have done it without music. And no, I don't think the stillness would have been as important in this movie as it was in The Birds.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
I mean, there's still moments of stillness in this movie, but you know, I think the music is important.
Another little comparison with The Birds, because you know, we just talked about it last weekend, but like that one's in color, right? And this one's in black and white. Do you think this works better in black and white, or do you think it works better in black and white?
I don't think it would have ever. I don't think it would have come across in color.
There's something so creepy about it.
Well, the blood. You know, the blood in The Birds was a little campy, you know, for sure, you know, ketchupy, and it wouldn't have worked in Psycho.
All the noir nighttime stuff in Psycho is really good.
So,
let me scroll down to. We're getting to time here, actually.
Gosh,
I know we've
long-winded, aren't we?
Jeez, yeah, we need to stop talking so much. But okay, I'm back to my classic questions I've been asking. Casting swap. You could pick anybody, put them in any role in this movie. Who would you do? And this is like a perfect movie, so it's hard to do.
I mean, Jack Nicholson, you mentioned him earlier. He probably would have worked as Norman. A young Anthony Hopkins.
Totally.
Anthony Hopkins was pretty young in the 60s. He would have been, I don't know how old he would have been then. He could have done it. Marion, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to. She really displays that likability. Yeah. While I've just done a pretty bad thing.
I mean, I'm thinking Lana Turner. I don't know. Lana Turner was a little bit too glamour from the 40s type gal.
Sure.
You know, I'd have to think on that one.
Yeah. Can I tell you my weird pick?
Yeah.
This is a weird one.
Yeah.
Anthony Perkins, I couldn't shake it. The way he was acting and his mannerisms and everything reminds me of when Andrew Garfield puts on an American accent.
Andrew Garfield would have been.
He would have killed it.
Yeah.
Because he is every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh, like he's like, that's my friend.
Yeah.
And then
but he can be total creepy.
Oh yeah. He would have murdered this scene.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Right.
But yeah, so good choices.
John Malkovich, maybe. You know, he
that's
although he wasn't quite. I mean, Anthony Hopkins has boyish charm, good looks.
Yeah.
John Malkovich, I don't know if he could have pulled that off. John Malkovich can play a really good villain. So I don't know.
Of course,
I don't know. Yeah,
that's a good one.
But he's such a great actor; he could have pulled this off, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
but that's why I thought of Andrew Garfield. I was like, he's like a little boy, and then he could totally be creepy. But I thought it was uncanny how similar they looked. I was like, that looks like Andrew Garfield.
True. True.
But okay, so we've got.
I don't think any of the rest of them matter. I think anybody could play the other ones, but
I think so.
Although Martin Balsam was great, John Gavin was good as Sam too. But you could have had any rugged romantic lead.
It's the same as The Birds. Anybody with a jaw, just some stabilizing masculine presence,
cleft chin, and all that stuff. You know.
But yeah, you're right. Anthony Perkins, I keep pointing back here because he's looking at me. But his performance is so important to this movie, and it's perfectly done.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we're like replacing him, but you know he does it perfectly.
I hope we're correct that he didn't get I want him to get an Academy Award nomination for this, but I hope we're correct that he didn't. Yeah, you better look it up because we're gonna lose viewership if we're not.
While I'm looking it up.
Yes.
Talk about your scene stealer. What stood out to you? What performance? What part of the movie? Anything like that?
Well, I thought Martin Balsam was a scene stealer. He just was so, non-trusting. So, what's going on here? I smell a rat type. He really did a good job with that scene stealing.
Anthony Perkins did not win an Oscar for this. He didn't win it.
He wasn't nominated even?
Nope.
Wow.
That's crazy to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway. Yeah, I would say Martin Balsam did a good job. I mean,
yeah. There's the main shower scene. It's kind of just like, whoa, that was pretty.
You think that was a scene steal? What are you talking about? A performance that was like?
Just like anything that you're like, wow, that like, I guess when I say scene stealer, that kind of implies that I'm talking about an actor.
Yeah.
But like, I guess like Janet Leigh's performance during the shower scene was like that woman is being brutally murdered.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. No, she did an excellent job. That she's really leading actress material there, but you can't have her be a leading actress when she dies at the beginning of the movie. But Martin Balsam I think was a underrated in that.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's the detective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in I recognize because I was in a Twilight Zone kick recently. He's in a few Twilight Zone episodes.
Sure.
Do you? So I looked it up for our on-screen question. Do you think this could be done as a theatrical production? Do you think it would feel the same? How would it feel different?
I think so. Carefully, I think you need a heck of a good director. I don't know. I can't picture it on stage. I think that you would probably have. Well, I don't know. The shower scene. Yeah, I guess it could be done. You'd have to really do some cool things with lights and staging and all of that.
And if you had like an orchestra, you could do something.
Yeah. The set itself, you'd have to have some pretty funky set changes.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd pull that off.
Yeah, it's apparently it's been done like a lot
on stage.
I haven't.
I'm going to say that every time. On stage.
I couldn't find any like Broadway level productions or anything like that. But I found like just like a lot of local. Like I just searched like psycho theatrical productions, and it was just a lot. Like a lot of different like little theater. And I was kind of like, I wonder how that would be done.
I'm wondering why smaller theaters would do it yet. It wouldn't have be done.
I know. I guess. Like somebody writes something and they try it out at like a local level and it doesn't really work as well or something. I don't know. But it may not have worked, and that's why
I wonder how that is legal.
Yeah, I have no idea. But
oh well, I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
I could be totally wrong. But
I trust you.
Yeah. As we end our our Hitchcock October series, what is my last little gotcha question for you is the double feature one. What's a good movie that you think? And I want everybody to know, for this question, I'm not like looking up what's a good movie to go with this. I'm thinking, what movies have I seen that I think would go good with this?
Right.
Do you have one, or do you want me to go with mine?
You go with yours. Okay. I always like for you to go first.
Okay. Thank you, Dad. But there is a movie called Split, where James McAvoy is the main character, and he plays, and it's part of a series. It's technically a sequel to Unbreakable with Bruce Willis, and then they have Glass, which is a sequel, which is a sequel to that. So it goes Unbreakable, and then many years later Split, and then Glass, which has Samuel L. Jackson in it. But Split, I saw that in theaters, and it was James McAvoy's performance with the split personality thing was insanely good. I thought it was awesome. It was crazy to see him become different people on screen. And it was the thing where he's like trapping people in his basement. He's like a psychotic killer and all this stuff. And he's got these different personalities, or, only one of them is the killer.
Keeping people prisoner down there.
Yeah. So it was, it's Yeah, so it kind of reminded me of that kind of like psychological thriller mixed with, like elements of like gore and suspense and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
but see, you're better at this than I am, because I really do think you've seen a lot more movies than I have.
But it took me a while to come up with that. And I'm like, any horror movie can go as Psycho. It's such a landmark horror film,
right?
That, you could, but yeah.
Well, I'll just tell you one that comes to mind is a huge favorite of mine. Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Have you seen that one?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Yeah, what's it about?
You have to watch. It's about two aged actresses living in a deteriorating mansion. One of them is in a wheelchair, and basically the one who had the career as a child is jealous of the other one who had a career later. And
did you say two aging actresses?
Aged. I just said aged.
Aged.
But,
okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
they're old.
Gotcha.
But the one that had the more successful career is in a wheelchair. There's a whole story behind that.
Yeah.
But basically, the younger one keeps her up in her room, and it also could have been shot in color, and I think somebody actually wanted it shot in color. The director, I guess, is the somebody, but it was in black and white. It would not have worked in color.
Gotcha.
Betty Davis and Joan Crawford.
Oh yeah, Betty Davis. Awesome.
I don't know. I mean, somebody probably is out there listening, going, "No way, not those two." But there are similarities.
But that's the cool thing of it. It's like, what would you think? That's what I like about it. But
but really, when you think about it, you don't have to necessarily pair something that has the same elements. It's just they both are shocking, and but it's just another early 60s black and white film. I think that
that sounds great. I wanted to go with would you recommend? Obviously you'd recommend this movie to someone else.
Yes. It's an essential. It's on the essential list. It's got to be.
I was recently talking to my brother-in-law, Cooper Long, and was talking to him about this podcast. And I said, we're watching Psycho. And he's like, I don't think I've seen that. And I was like, you have?
Are you kidding?
Yeah. So it's because we were just talking about horror movies in general. And I was like, this is like the horror film. It's the psychological slasher. Like I recommend it to people as a landmark horror film.
Yeah.
And it's still, and I told him, I was like, it's still scary today. It's made in 1960. It's not cheesy or anything. I mean, there's some little elements here and there, but like it is good and it's still scary.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's this is is this your favorite out of the 4 that we've seen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it your favorite? Because I know I've seen like a couple more Hitchcock films, I think. Yeah. But is this your favorite Hitchcock film?
I think so. And the reason I saw Psycho, I just thought so many times, is because our theater department in college hosted like a Halloween style thing.
I thought you were about to say we put on a production of Psycho.
No. Raise money, and I think we all of us actors volunteered to help out. And I think I ended up seeing it. Yeah, I want to say I saw it 5 or 6 times back then, and then I've seen it.
But they did like a volunteer horror night or something
double feature. But college students, we'd play them well into the wee morning hours. You know, so
that's cool.
Horror film thing.
Awesome.
But anyway,
that's a cool little tidbit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, that wraps up our Hitchcock October series.
Yeah.
Have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And don't trust people who run hotels. I'm just kidding.
Don't take a shower.
Don't take a shower ever. No. So, guys, for next week, we are, which starts our November series, we are going to watch silent films for the month of November. Yeah. It's going to be Silent Film November.
And we're not going to say a word.
We're not going to say a word for a month. We're just going to sit here silently and record. But for next week, we're starting off with Modern Times. It's a Charlie Chaplin film. It's his last silent film, but it's Modern Times from 1934. And we're going to start with that one, and then we'll reveal the next ones as we go on. So, yeah. Guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. If you're still watching after episode 4, that's awesome. Like I always say, like and subscribe, share it around, comment if you have we're getting to the point where we can take like recommendations and stuff like that. If you want us to watch certain things or like want us to do certain, like, let us know. Like we want to know if you have any ideas for this podcast, like just comment below. Yeah. I wanted to say this now, but I think I'll have it in our little intro video that we're going to put out.
Okay.
But I have an email set up called it's just one word. It's one word. It's Movie Nights with Dad. Nights is plural, so Movie Nights with Dad, just the name of the podcast, @gmail.com. So you can email us.
If people have the patience to type all that in?
Yep.
Okay.
I think so. If they have the patience to watch us talk for an hour, they have the patience to type all that.
And your improv skills they're
I was
finely tuned.
I was raised by the best.
Yes, I'm so good at improv.
Yeah. So email us. Commenting just helps with our engagement. But if you have like a longer thing you want to type out an email, like please do. I'll check that. But yeah, guys, we're so thankful. We just like doing this.
Yep.
Come back next week.
Thanks a lot for watching.
Yeah.
Love you, son.
Love you too, Dad. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya. I didn't know if Doris was still by. Where are the cats?
Where are the cats?